Welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Australian authorities are preparing to evacuate thousands of people from flood-affected suburbs of Sydney after another day of heavy rains triggered the worst floods in 60 years. The unrelenting rains over the past 3 days swelled rivers in the state of New South Wales, causing widespread damage and triggering calls for mass evacuations. The fast-moving floodwaters have inundated houses, swept away vehicles and farm animals, and submerged roads, bridges, houses and farms. Authorities expect the wild weather to continue until Wednesday. 18,000 people have already been evacuated from low-lying areas of the state. Results from the long-awaited US trial of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine have confirmed the shot is both safe and highly effective. The vaccine is 79% effective in preventing symptomatic illness and 100% effective against severe or critical disease and hospitalization. An independent data safety monitoring board identified no safety concerns related to the vaccine and, despite fears, found no increased risk of blood clotting or events characterized by blood clots. The trial of the former Canadian diplomat Michael Kovrig, who has been held in China for more than 2 years on espionage charges, has begun in Beijing.
Now we see that the court process itself is not transparent. We're very troubled by this.
It comes days after the United States raised concerns over the case at bilateral talks with China in Alaska. Mr. Kovrig is the second of 2 Canadians tried for spying in China this month, following the trial of businessman Michael Spavor on Friday. A court official told reporters no entry was allowed because the trial is a national security case. 8 out of a dozen Hong Kong activists detained last year by Chinese authorities after attempting to flee to Taiwan have been returned to the city. Known as the Hong Kong 12, the group were captured at sea by the Chinese Coast Guard last August as they tried to reach Taiwan by speedboat. The group were fleeing charges related to protest activities in Hong Kong. The pro-democracy activists were found guilty in December of attempting an illegal border crossing by a court and were sentenced to between 7 months and 3 years in jail. Russian jets have hit rebel training camps in northwestern Syria near the Turkish border, hours after Syrian artillery killed at least 7 civilians and injured at least 14 medics in an attack on a hospital. Video shows jets targeting a gas facility near Samada city in Idlib province. It's the latest attack on fuel facilities that are an economic lifeline for a region home to more than 4 million people. Volunteers tackled burning fuel tankers at Bab al-Hawa, while a gas facility was hit near Samada city in Idlib province. 20 police officers have been injured as police vans were set alight during clashes with protesters in the city of Bristol in southwest England. A demonstration against a government bill that would give police new powers to restrict protests turned violent as thousands of protesters converged on the city centre. Demonstrators set fire to police vehicles, aimed fireworks at officers, scaled a police building and sprayed graffiti on it. 7 people have since been arrested. Brice Kolelas, the leading opposition presidential candidate in the Republic of Congo, has died a day after the country went to the polls. Mr. Kolelas was hospitalized on the eve of the elections and died of COVID-19 in a medical aircraft that was taking him to France for treatment. A video dated a couple of days before his death showed Kolelas wearing an oxygen mask as he lay in a hospital bed. The runner-up in the 2016 presidential election was 66 years old when he died. The US Senator Chris Coons and Ethiopia's Minister of Foreign Affairs Demeke Mekonnen have held talks over Addis Ababa continuing to fill its Renaissance Dam for a second year. The talks come at a time of increased tension between Ethiopia and its Nile Valley neighbours, Sudan and Egypt. Earlier this month, Ethiopia rejected a Sudanese proposal to have an international quartet mediate the dispute, which would include the United Nations, the US, European Union and the African Union, to solve the stalled negotiations. Ethiopia started filling the reservoir behind the dam last year. And finally, artwork produced by a robot has gone up for auction for the very first time. Known as Sophia, the robot was unveiled in 2016 and produced the artwork alongside the Italian digital artist Andrea Bonaccetto.
I am painting my feelings.
He said the collaboration aimed to make a statement in the art and technology worlds where AI robots and humans collaborate. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.